All right, man. A rocky little win, but I guess a win's a win, especially when you're dealing with November and the weather and all the good stuff and the injuries. So we'll take it against the Detroit Lions. But as always, it's your boy G.Bush. We back in here with John Kosko from Pro Football Focus. You know, it was a lot of controversy. You didn't see, I was tweeting stuff and it just got picked up. Colin Cowherd just it was on the show, made the show. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Going viral, I guess, huh?
Yeah, listen, be surprised what you do when people don't agree with what you say. Oh my gosh, you go viral quick, bro.
This game was ugly, obviously. The Browns pretty much handled it for the most part. It got a little dicey in the end or whatever, but they pretty much had this game under control for the whole time. Baker looked like he almost just couldn't play. Like he was that hurt. And it really affected his accuracy in this game. And I think there are excuses that you can make in terms of like quarterback. Like if you misread a defense and you throw it to the wrong guy and you throw it interception because of that, that's one thing. But if you're just flat out inaccurate, which Baker Mayfield is just generally not an inaccurate quarterback. He was less accurate in this game than he was against the Vikings in week 4, right, where he was pretty bad in that one. And this one, he just couldn't, for whatever reason, it was the heel or the knee or the shoulder or all of it combined. He just couldn't hit his receivers. And I don't know how bad the wind was out there. But generally speaking, you don't see him missing too many open receivers. And, last year he missed at a 7% rate. And this year he's up at like 17%. So something clearly is ailing him. And it's, it may have been wise to sit him for this game.
I'm just trying to figure it out from my standpoint, and I'm trying to dig into what's going on with Stefanski's mind state. It's like I don't understand it. Like you come out against the Denver Broncos and you play Case Keenum. I think if Case Keenum comes out and plays that next game against the Steelers, I think that's a winnable game. Now, granted, they may have not came out there against the way that the Patriots put it on us. I'm not going to sit here and say if Case Keenum plays in that game, it's going to be like all lights out and we're going to win that game. Say, for instance, we take an L that game. Okay, you're right now back into a situation where, okay, now you got the Lions, and I think Case Keenum can win that game. If Case Keenum gets you to 3-1 over that stretch of 4, you didn't get Baker Mayfield back for the first Ravens game before another bye week. Right now, it's just like you said, it doesn't look like he has any sort of accuracy. And at what point in time is just like, man, come on, man, you're not giving yourself a good chance to win, especially now we're back in the Ravens week. And now I don't foresee him being as healthy as he's supposed to be going against Baltimore. And you know what they're about to do. They're about to come in here and get every opportunity they can at home to hit him and hit him and hit him and hit him. What's going through Stefanski's head when he keeps putting him back out there?
I think if he gets cleared medically, he's going to play his starter essentially. And that's as far as he thinks about it. Like he has, if you think, look at what Baker Mayfield did last year, and I know this is last year, but maybe Stefanski thinks, all right, he can get him back to what he was playing at level last year. And so if he's cleared medically, it's like, okay, and I can see him in practice, and maybe in practice he's throwing accurate balls or whatever. Then he's like, okay, he's good to go. And then he has a stinker of a game. You kind of look at it and go, all right, well, what happened here? What do we need to adjust? 5 weeks, 6 weeks that he's played, he has an open receiver. He had only been missing under, right around 10% rate, which is not bad. But this game was a 41% rate where a guy was open, he missed him at 40%. That's like insane. So it's like at some point you kind of go like, all right, we need to pull you because you are hurting and we don't want you to get, any more damage to you or whatever. Just the difference between like the Broncos game where he didn't play was a short week, right? So maybe they don't beat the Bengals because Baker played out of his mind in that game. He was awesome in that game, right? So if Case Keenum is playing in that game, do they win that game? I don't know. So you hope that Baker doesn't have these ailments, and I guess that's his mindset with it. It's just, hey, if he's good to go, like he gives us the best chance to win.
The Browns could not throw the football. We just could not. I mean, we just talked about why, a lot of the reasons, but Nick Chubb just erased a lot of that, just doing what he does, moving people out the way, running people over, just finding holes where they necessarily might not be there. and just really putting the game on his back, especially that last drive. And just saying, I'm Nick Chubb. I'm gonna make sure we're able to go run this clock out, and now I'm not gonna get the ball. What did you think about Nick Chubb's performance in a game back?
I mean, he was awesome this one, right? So his grade was an 83.8, second highest graded player. The offensive line was excellent in this game from a run blocking standpoint. Joel Bitonio was one of the highest graded guards of the week at a 90.9. JC Treader was excellent in this one. Wyatt Teller again was excellent as always. Blake Hance was in run blocking was a stud. His pass protection could really use some work there, but they paved the holes for these running backs. Nick Chubb and Dearness Johnson both were excellent in this one, but Nick Chubb 6 missed tackles in this game. Probably I think it was like 3 explosive plays, and then especially the reason why you have this team built the way it is to be able to run out the clock in those situations that like they did at the end of this game, unlike what they were able to do against the Chargers. So you would hope that they would have been able to do that against the Chargers. And then they got it done in this one, obviously against a much lesser team, but this is what this team is built for. And Nick Chubb took advantage.
Yeah, man, I saw Wyatt Teller lift somebody's soul. He lifted somebody's soul. God rest in peace. District 13, they just went ahead and just shot the woman, Wyatt Teller on fire. Putting boys out of here. The mockingbird strikes again. Stop having people listen. I keep seeing y'all's play defensive linemen, running linebackers, safeties. Just their name is getting put in the sky, man. Teller's doing it. Listen, just fall down. Fall down. Just fall down.
He launched that guy like 5 yards in the air. It was impressive. His run blocking game grade since the start of the Chargers game is a 93.1.
Blazing hip hop and R&B, 93.1 WZAK, playing nothing but the hits. Yo, yeah, just fall down. Make that business decision, you know what I'm saying? But it was looking crazy out there, man. We got Nick Chubb Nick Chubb came back this game. Kareem Hunt is coming back this game. It looks like they're going to be getting Conklin back. So, the boys is back together. It looks like they're getting the dudes slowly but surely back. And we need all of that because we might only be able to throw the ball 6.5 times against the Ravens. We might not. It's all screen game or something. So talk about how important it is. You get Kareem Hunt back, Conklin back. You're getting a little healthier at the time, especially up front with the run game.
Yeah, Jack Conklin being back is going to be huge because Blake Hance, as much as he tries, it does not. He was better at the left tackle position when he was replacing Jedrick Wills. So he might just be more of that natural left tackle, and the right side is not for him because on the right side, part of it is, he did go up against Von Miller for a good portion of that game. He had a 50.9 pass block grade against TJ Watt. He was a 19.1 against the Bengals, and they have a really good pass rush there too, just a 28.5. So you see a theme here. He struggles on that right side against even some quality pass rushers. So his pass blocking grade has been a detriment to the team. It's a situation where his 43.7 pass blocking grade is a hindrance to this team. So Jack Conklin coming in there, who's obviously far superior in that regard, was I think he was the second highest graded right tackle in the NFL, at the time he got injured. So him being back and having that offensive line solidified is going to be huge, not only for the run game, because Jack Conklin's just a better run blocker, even though Blake Hance actually kind of shows decently well in that regard. It's just that you have that extra element there, but then the pass protection is what's going to lift everything for Baker's standpoint. Kareem Hunt, we know what type of stud he is. He at least from, with Dearness Johnson and Nick Chubb, they're more of the kind of the same mold in terms of they're not a receiving threat unless you just design a screen for them and they have to take it to the, make some guys miss in that regard. Kareem Hunt, he can run downfield routes. You can do stuff like that, split them out wide and have him be part of the passing package where it puts teams on their heels a little bit more. So him being back and being able to provide that will be absolutely huge. And then you have a 3-man rotation at running back room now that you can trust, and it just keep those guys fresh, and just obviously just be that much more dynamic and more explosive at that.
When we get back after our first break, what we're going to do is we're going to get into best case scenario, worst case scenario against the Baltimore Ravens. We'll also come up and go behind enemy lines, talk about the Ravens, G.Bush and John Kosko on the Browns preview show on the Barbershop Network. Around the AFC North is brought to you by Manscaped. Who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming? Champions of the world, Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family and your jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4. And I'm going to tell you what, this is freaking awesome, guys. Listen, this thing is sleek. This thing is cool. It runs very efficiently. And best of all, it does not cut you where you're most sensitive at. Don't get yourself twisted. This is the barbershop. I would not tell you about something that don't clean you up right. You're going to get the Lawnmower 4. You heard that right, the 4. And you can join over 2 million people worldwide who trust Manscaped with the exclusive offers for you today. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BARBERSHOP at manscaped.com.
Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths. Man, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong.
Don't do that, man.
Don't do that. You could do it with your face, but if you don't want to mix and match there, so
I'll tell you what,
get yourself a new one.
I will tell you what, one of the things we talk about all the time is with these kind of trimmers and stuff is the cut. I thought, you're kind of apprehensive because I've cut myself before and it hurts whether it's on your face, but it really hurts down there. Also, they do a really good job of coming out with other different products. Right now, this is the crop preserver. If you use deodorant under your arms, why not use deodorant down there? This is clean, it feels effective, and it gives off no residue. That's what we're looking for when you're a big guy as well. And they have a handy dandy spray, which really help you out as well. This is the Crop Reviver. Keeps you down there, keeps everything smooth and ready to go. And trust me, the significant other will like it. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code BARBERSHOP at manscaped.com. The 20% off with free shipping at Manscaped, and use the code word BARBERSHOP. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Welcome back to the Browns preview show on the Barbershop Network. G.Bush, John Kosko. Best case scenario, worst case scenario. I mean, I think when we all saw the schedule, this 2-week period right here, it was kind of crazy because, it's like a quirk in the schedule. And it seems like the Browns are now at 6-5, Ravens at 7-3. And this game is pretty much, if you can get 2 of these games, this basically is an elimination game, right? In the AFC. If whatever team takes these 2 L's, that hurts bad, especially for the Browns. So let's go first. Worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario that can happen in this game, the first game against the Ravens?
That it looks like the first game of the year last year where the Browns got boat raced. What is it, 38-7 or whatever?
Yeah.
That would be the worst case scenario where the passing attack still looks just off. They couldn't get anything going on the ground because basically you get behind so quickly and that happens, and you're just not able to stop Mark Andrews and Hollywood Higgens and Rashad Bateman. That is the absolute worst case scenario. And then on top of it, that the cherry on top, you just occur more injuries or something like that, and then you're essentially saying, well, the season is officially over. That would be the worst case scenario, because you can actually come out of this game with a loss and still be fine because you essentially need to split the series with the Ravens. So the worst case scenario though would be getting boat raced and then having more injuries and like, Baker and a couple other guys that are important to this team, like, some of the offensive linemen get injured.
I think worst case scenario, I'm not even gonna put it on the injuries, because the injuries, I mean, I guess that can happen to anybody anytime, so I can't really just throw it out there. But I think the worst case scenario is a game where it's painfully obvious that the Browns can't pass the football, and not only do you get your whole offensive lineman back, your whole running game back, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, you got a full stable of backs. And the Ravens just say, oh no, we have 9 guys up here and we're going to do this all day. And they just shut the run down. And then on the other side of the football, I think this was where the definite worst case scenario can happen. If Lamar Jackson comes out here and styles on us, if he styles on you and he's just running around like he does, and he gets 130 yards on the ground, and you can't tackle him, he's finding guys leaking out deep on scramble plays, and you get boat race like that, I think you're going to have, you thought people was pointing fingers before. I think it's not the fact that they can't come back the next week and fix some stuff up and clean it up, especially before a bye. But I think people are going to be like, nah, this ain't it. And it's not just the people on the outside. I think there might be serious players on the inside like, this ain't working, because now we've lost to the Steelers. Obviously, we're outmatched against the Ravens. We thought we had a great chance against a rookie quarterback in the Patriots, and it don't look good. Maybe we need to play Cincinnati again. Get Natty on the phone. Best case scenario for you, right?
I mean, it looks like the Bengals game. Where Baker just looks electric. He's accurate. He's getting rid of the ball in a timely fashion. The running game is just eaten, and then the defense is locking down, right? Like the Bengals are a good team. Like they legitimately beat a good team, a potential playoff team. Joe Burrow and that offense had been flying high, and they shut them down, and they made adjustments, and they were able to do that. So that would be the best case scenario. Baker comes out there, his injuries or whatever, they don't ail him, and he's accurate at the ball. We've seen him play really extremely well against the Ravens and throughout his career, except for the first game last year. So I think for him, he can play like he normally does against the Ravens, especially that second time where they played and they lost 45-42, almost like, thinking the game of the year type stuff. He can play like that, and the running game can get going. And then you have the defense that's much improved from last year and do their thing. That would be the best case scenario for me. Best case scenario is like, we're going to run the ball in ways you never thought possible. Like, I need to get my jet motion going. I need to be handing it to people. I need you to really get creative, like in this run game. And Baker ends up something like 12 of 15. Like 12 or 15, but these is like timely first downs. Maybe you hit one play to get a chunk play for maybe 25 or 30 yards. Maybe that's a score. But other than that, you continuously run this football. You're getting yards, and you find creative ways to do it. You 12 or 15, you get Baker, no interceptions, maybe 2 touchdowns, and he doesn't get hurt. And now you sneaked out of Baltimore with a win. It could be a close one. You sneak out of there, you get healthy on that next week, and you jump right back into it. Now you got him at the crib. You got him at the house now, and you should have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You should have Schwartz back. You should have full complement of guys. That's what we need to see. We need to see that type of game. But when we get back, we'll go behind enemy lines. We'll talk about exactly how Joe Woods is going to be able to do that. We'll go behind enemy lines, get to the keys to the game, and the X factors. Coming up is G.Bush and John Kosko. Kosko's PFF grades are brought to you by BetUS.com. Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUSA.com. Join now for 125% bonus or 200% bonus with crypto. Use the promo code BARBERSHOP and bet sports, casinos, horses, pop culture, and more at BetUS.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. BetUS has been serving clients for 25 plus years and prides itself on being known as America's favorite sportsbook. With action on every sport across the world, we can pretty much guarantee that we've got your game. BetUS offers the industry's biggest retail bonus to keep our players betting longer. The BetUS loyalty program is legendary. We keep our players up to date with articles, players, teams, stats, and trends, giving you the right tools to make the best wagering decisions.
Make sure you guys check out betus.com and use the promo code BARBERSHOP. betus.com. Welcome back to the Browns Preview Show. G.Bush, John Kosko. Let's get ready to go behind enemy lines. Let's go ahead and get right to the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens this year, the Ravens do what the Ravens do. You look at what Lamar Jackson has been able to do so far. You said you had kind of a hot take earlier this year. And you was like, I don't know about Lamar Jackson. He's ready to come back down to regress to the mean. How do you think Lamar Jackson has played so far this year as far as his passing game and what the offense is looking like under Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens?
So they've made a concerted effort to have Lamar throw it more early on. So in previous years under him, they were the heaviest run team in the NFL, especially in first halves. And then, when you get a lead or whatever, they're just going to run the ball. Now they're making a more concerted, they're middle of the pack and run percentage and first halves of the games. And they're basically letting Lamar pass the ball a lot more. It's been kind of a mixed results thing. If you take out the 3-week stretch against the Lions, the Broncos, and the Colts, where he was excellent, he's really been pretty average, below average in terms of his passing ability. But what this has kind of done is allowed him to try to develop and get through maybe some issues that he does have as a passer. I don't think he's there yet. He's a type of quarterback that needs to see it to be open to throw it. He's not much of an anticipatory thrower. And still, if his first read isn't there, he does kind of struggle to go through his progressions. He then looks to start running it, but he really does make he tries hard to try to make sure that he's going through his progressions in that regard. And so they're running it less often than what they've been doing in previously, but we know what they can do both as, and basically as a running team, because they can always fall back on that.
Yeah, I think what's really showing up for you now is the lack of the home run hitting ability. Like J.K. Dobbins not being there. I mean, by far, he was the best running back. Him not being there really, on the read option stuff. I mean, I'm not scared of the rest of them guys. Like you're gonna have to hit me. You're gonna have to hit me over the head 3 or 4 times with the run game. Still, I think they go to Mark Andrews a lot. And they just to spot shadow him. I mean, besides Kelsey, who's getting that many look? I mean, he looks at him first.
yeah, he does, and for good reason. He's a stud. Mm-hmm. He's I think this, he's got an 89.4 grade this season. One of the highest graded tight ends in the NFL. He can get it done as a blocker and when he's running routes, and Kelsey obviously is the number 1 tight end in the NFL. I said a couple of years ago that he could be turning into the next Kelsey. And the only thing that kind of holds him back from doing that is that the fact that he's on this offense with Lamar Jackson, who's not a prolific passer like Travis Kelsey has with Patrick Mahomes. So that's the only thing essentially holding them back in that regard. They have a good offensive line that does a good enough job. They, Alejandro Villanueva, we know what this offensive line kind of looked like for week 1, where it was a disaster. He was over on the right side. It didn't work out for him. They flipped him back over to the left where he's much more comfortable.
A little better.
And he's a lot better over there. Right. So this is the Ravens. They're extremely well coached, so they're going to figure things out with their offensive line. And they've done so. Right. So, but yeah, Mark Andrews is the main guy you got to kind of stop there. But then you've got to be worried about, Hollywood Brown, who can take the top off the defense, and Rashad Bateman's a stud as a their number 2 wide receiver.
When you look at what the Ravens do defensively, even when the Browns had a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., they could throw a guy like Marlon Humphrey out there and just tell him to go follow around. Now we don't necessarily have that type of player on the outside. What are we gonna do? What are the Browns are going to have to do in order to get some of these receivers open? I mean, you know, they have a pretty good secondary. You know, they got some guys that can get after you up front. The Ravens are going to do what the Ravens always do. You know what they're going to run. So how the Browns are going to look to manufacture some yards, especially when you may not have consistent outside threats like, you know, like we used to, or the quarterback is a little banged up and his accuracy isn't there.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to get creative. And we've seen that with, you know, we kind of saw it a little bit in this Lions game. Jarvis Landry on a reverse throw where he actually scrambled it for a touchdown. That type of stuff, you know, you got to be able to pepper that type of stuff in there to get them on their heels and guessing and getting their eyes in the wrong places so you can get guys open. And Kevin Stefanski does a pretty good job of that with the boot game, just with the creativity that he's able to bring to the table. They are, you know, as everybody knows, they're one of the heaviest blitz teams in the NFL at a 35% rate, which is fourth highest in the NFL. So they're going to blitz a ton. So like, if you know what they're going to do, they're going to do a ton of zero blitzes, and they're going to do a lot of zone pressure blitzes as well. And you just have to be prepared for that, have design plays that can creatively get guys open, because you know, you may be utilizing a David Njoku against their linebackers. Their linebackers are not great in coverage. And Njoku is a much better athlete than those guys that can get open. So they just have to be creative.
One thing I don't want to see, I better not. I mean, this man pulled out the tight end reverse.
that was a bit too creative, I'd say. If you're gonna do that reverse, do it with a speedster.
Yeah. I said, like, David Njoku tight end. The tight end screen is one of the things now that's, you know, in the game, and people have been running a little more and doing that. But the tight end reverse game, I'm looking at Stefanski like, come on, bro, you need to quit it with the tight end reverse game. So
he tried to be creative. I give him props for the creativity. Yeah, if that was Kyle Pitts. That's Kyle Pitts. Oh man,
let's roll. Right? Like, hey, Chase Claypool, let's roll. I like that, man. You know, these hybrid type guys, even if it's Demetric Felton, I'll take it. How come Schwartz can't get none of them plays? Oh my goodness.
He does. The problem with Schwartz is he's a straight line speed only. That is all he is. So
he has no maneuverability. His maneuverability, his hips is tight. Pause. He just, like, you know, his route running need to work on out. Yeah, I'm just saying. So when we look at this game, you know, one of the things I think more than anything, X factors are really big for this game, because I think for the Browns to win, they're underdog in this game, and they'll be underdog for a good reason. Somebody's going to have to make a play besides the prerequisite Nick Chubb. Like, someone on this defensive side of the football is going to have to be like, get loose and strip sacks, turnovers, maybe a pick to the house like we saw against the Bengals. I'm really looking at this thing, and I really need to have the defensive X factor step up. And in this game, I'm going to just go with Myles Garrett, man. You know, he's been doing a lot of different things. Like, he's got the plays, he's got the numbers, but the impact plays, right? The strip sacks. Get you a strip sack, pick the ball up and take it to the house. Get you a tip pass and take it to the crib. Get you a hurry on Lamar Jackson and knock him down, and maybe he throws an errant pass and you guys get a turnover. It's going to take something like that from one of the playmakers to actually turn the tides of this game to win on a Sunday night in Baltimore, when you're limited a little bit in your passing game. I think the defense has to come up with some points in this game. I need Myles Garrett to show up and show out and do what he needs to do. He's my X factor of the game on the defensive side of the football. Who do you have as your X factor of the game against the Ravens on the defensive side of football?
I'm gonna go with JOK. So I was thinking about doing Clowney, but you brought in Clowney as obviously as a guy to get after the quarterback like a Lamar, but like JOK I think was kind of brought in as a guy that can mirror Lamar out there and follow him around, right? So Lamar is gonna make plays. but you have to try to limit that. And if JOK can be the guy that's spying him, because you need to put a spy on him if he happens to break the pocket, because we know how this pass rush is. They tend to over shoot their lanes and open up the lanes for Lamar to just kind of scamper through,
especially on the goal line.
Yeah, and so JOK being there to spy on him, to keep him in check is going to be huge, I think, for me in this game.
Hey, y'all can watch that Miami Dolphins tape. You could just line up, just blitz him until the cows come home. That's what we can do. Offensive side of the football, the Browns' backfield has to be over 200 yards X factor for them to win this game. That means Kareem Hunt's going to have to come back and give me about 70 or 80. That means you already know what you're going to have to get from Nick Chubb. If you can get over 200, 2 bills for the Browns backfield, that shows you one thing, that the Browns are ball controlling the offense and running the football. 2, the defense is not, we're not giving their offense the ball back because we got the ball. And 3, we're not dropping Baker Mayfield back there so he can get beat up by one of the top blitzing teams. I'm going to take the dynamic duo, Hunt and Chubb, in the backfield, 200 plus X factors for the offense.
So you're going to have to make some plays in the passing game. So one guy that really hasn't stepped up at all this year is Rashad Higgins. And Higgins, he's had essentially one game where he's graded decently well, and it was the Minnesota game. He had a 76.4 or 76.1 game grade in that game. He has been basically below 64 in every single other game, mostly in the 50s. And I'm not sure exactly what the heck is going on with that, because especially even like with Landry, Baker had good rapport with Landry and Higgins, but I think with Higgins, they're going to be in a lot of man coverage, and you need guys to get open. Last year, they had a touchdown against the Ravens in that that Monday night game. He's going to need to be able to do some things again like that, and look like the guy that we saw last year from the Cleveland Browns, where he graded in the mid 70s and looked like a really good complementary piece to this team, and he just hasn't been that this year. So we need to see him step it up and get to that form again.
All right, let's go ahead and give your predictions for the game. This one is a little difficult for me. Usually I just throw it out there and I'm like, yeah, I didn't have a good feeling about the Cardinals game. Didn't really have a good feeling about the Patriots game. We all knew they was going to beat the Lions. This one is a little more difficult. When I look at this game, I think the Browns will be competitive in this one. I do. I think I think the team will rally around the fact that, a lot of people, they get a lot of chatter, a lot of talk. I think they'll come out and have a really good game. I just think that where our weakness will show is the ability to corral Lamar Jackson on third down scrambles, third down, keeping them in the pocket, rush lane containment, keeping rush integrity. They may let them get out on a couple read options. I just think at the end of the game, I think that will be the difference. I think actually, and Justin Tucker is a guy who always plays a role in these games, in the kicking game. It may come down to a last-second field goal. I think I got the Ravens 28-25 over the Browns in a hard-fought one, but the Browns come up a little short.
It's interesting. So the spread in this game is 4 points in favor of the Ravens, but 73% of the cash is on the Brown side.
Really?
So 73% of the cash says that they're going to cover that spread. The tickets, though, the tickets are 50-50 as well. So for me, I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game than maybe you might think, based on how the Browns have played, in recent weeks. I think they're going to come to this game. They're going to become hyped up. They're going to be prepared. They're going to play well. And I agree with you. It's going to be like a less than touchdown type game that's going to come down to the wire with a field goal. So I don't think the Browns are going to win this one as well. I think they're going to play a lot better on defense than maybe expected, and I'm going to go with like a 21-14 the 20 type game, maybe. Like it's going to be that close.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really great game. Baker will probably, he'll be ready to go. I mean, it's Sunday night. I mean, it's a primetime game. If you can win that game and go into the bye, I think the whole mood of the city is different, right? Because now you win this game and you got them again at the house. It's now everything's a fair game. Everything's a fair game. You back, you got the team back rolling, rolling. This is going to be an exciting game because you're going to know you're going to feel really great about this game, or you're going to feel like you're terrible, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to that. So we will get up out of here.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Eat some turkey from me. It's your boy G.Bush, John Kosko, Browns Preview Show.